What's going on, guys? In 2018, I went through possibly one of the most scariest shit in my short 24 years of my life. And it all started with just a light bout of depression, and it turned into something that was similar to a full-blown psychosis. This is my story about the dark night of the soul. So before we begin on what exactly happened to me during that time, I would just like to kind of educate you guys on what exactly is the dark night of the soul. So according to this Medium article, the dark night of the soul is a stage in personal development wherein a person undergoes a difficult and significant transition process to a deeper perception of life and their place in it. In layman's term, everything in a person's psyche in the dark night of the soul is coming up to be challenged, and a lot of difficult emotions are also coming through to be released so that the new can come in. This is a necessary process in something called the awakening process. And for those of you guys that don't know, or you guys are not part of the spiritual community, awakening is where a person kind of realizes his true essence, and that we are not just human beings but spiritual beings having a human experience. And the awakening process allows you to kind of have this experiential realization that you are not your body, you are not your friends, you're not your family, you're not all these external things, but you are something much more greater than that. The awakening process basically strips you out of your ego and forces you to see yourself for who you really are. So here's kind of my story, okay? It was around that time where Logan Paul made that video about the suicide forest and him like doing some stupid stuff to a dead body, and I kind of felt this presence in my room. And this is not like some frightening presence like ghosts or anything. It was very hard to explain. I just felt like I was not alone in my room. And while at the same time of feeling this presence, I felt this kind of light depression. And it wasn't like, okay, I was in a bad situation or anything. My situation was really good, but it felt like I was re-experiencing all these memories again. And the presence in the room kind of gotten stronger and stronger, and until it was undeniable that, like, shit, I was not alone in this room, and that something really fucked up was happening to me, and I could not explain what was going on. As time went on, like as the months went on, these feelings of my past memories kind of gotten more intense and intense and intense. More deeper emotions started to come up, and it went to the point where it was nearly unbearable, like really to the point where I could not, don't even talk about making YouTube videos, I could not even eat or drink water properly. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now, if that sounded kind of bad enough, like my thoughts that were coming up were really frightening. Like, I do not want to share what those thoughts are, but it is just frightening thoughts. It was like some different voice was talking in my head, and it was like yapping, and I literally felt like I lost my fucking mind, basically. So a normal person experiencing like all these symptoms would probably go to a therapist, right, or psychologist, and that was what I did, but they couldn't really do anything to help me. So I was like, okay, I got to kind of figure out what was going on in my life, because these emotions were so strong that like I would sometimes go home and start crying, and like tears would start coming out, and I would like not be able to go out of my house. I just wanted to stay in my room all day. But at the same time, right, it was not like back then where I was actually had like depression. It was like I knew deep down inside I was not depressed, because I had basically no reason to be depressed. My outside circumstances were good, and so I was just confused because I was experiencing all these very intense emotions and thoughts, but I knew deep down like these thoughts are not real, these emotions are not real. So I had the awareness that this was not depression, this was something else. And so I kind of like went on the internet and tried to search like what was going on with my life, like why am I experiencing all this, and I realized that this was a very normal process in something called a spiritual awakening, in which basically your subconscious mind is saying to you that it is time to let go of all of the past beliefs you had, past traumas you had, past energies you held on, and let it go. Let it go, basically let it go. And that all of these things coming up is a good sign that you have to re-experience all of these baggage, basically, so you can allow them to move past you and to let go so that new and higher vibrational energies can come in. This is the dark night of the soul, and according to what I researched, there is no way out of it but through it. And once you're through the dark night of the soul, you emerge as a new person. You are basically shedding your own skin. You are a snake shedding your skin to create a new version of you, a better, more improved version of you. Usually you see this happening in people that have gone through something very traumatic, like a breakup or a loss of a loved one, or maybe a very difficult circumstance in their life, and basically they cannot, their whole psyche collapses. And after that happens, during that process, all of these emotions start to come up and you get re-triggered. But what you see with these people is that after they go through that shedding of the skin process, they come up as a new person, and you're like, what the fuck? So in my story, I kind of went through the healing process, the feeling the emotions authentically so I can move through them. And for a while, I actually got worse. The more I felt those emotions, the more worse I felt. Now, as I was going through this cleansing of process, I felt really different in myself. Like, I felt like I was dead, basically. Like, a part of me died in that sense. And if you like, you can take a look at my 4 years ago videos, compared to me right now speaking. It's really strange. From what I realized is that this was a natural process in letting go of what did not serve you in the first place to make way for the new. Something I'd like to add also is that a lot of thoughts came up, very challenging thoughts about who am I? Am I really the person I put out to be on this camera, towards my friends, towards other people, to the public's eye? Simple questions like that, is my purpose really my purpose? Why am I here on this planet? But it goes even deeper to that. What's the difference between me and another human being? Is there a difference? If a thought is just a thought that separates me and another person, then what's the difference? And stuff like that that challenges the whole fundamental, my whole fundamental reality. And it was very scary. I thought I was actually losing my fucking mind, to be honest. But what I just like to say is that as I went through the process, the emotions kind of died down over time. It didn't happen overnight, but gradually the cleansing process kind of slowed down, and the intensity you learn to handle the intensity of the emotions and emerge as a newer, a better version of yourself. So I guess the lesson here really I'd like to share is that sometimes we go through very challenging experiences in our life. It could be a breakup, loss of someone, difficult financial circumstances. You basically want to get from point A to point B, but life kind of throws you a curveball and you end up in a place that was far different from where you expected, and you get off track, you get sidetracked. So for me personally, I would have rather just kind of stayed on the track of my path, just making YouTube videos, doing my thing, but I just got sidetracked completely, and I thought I wasted 1.5 years in this kind of cleansing process and getting to know myself better. But in hindsight, I realized that this actually made me stronger and a better person. So I guess my message for you guys is that if life throws a curveball to you and you feel that you are going not on the path that you were supposed to, but you want to make it happen, just trust in divine timing. Divine timing means that you are in the right place in the right time, and the universe has your back. We cannot really connect the dots looking forward, but we only can connect the dots looking back. And looking back from experiencing this dark night of the soul, very intense depression, I realized that it was a necessary process in making me a better person. That's just my message. Anyways guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to Simply Jeet for similar inspirational videos like this. As always guys, take action in your dreams, and best of luck, and I will talk to each and every one of you guys soon. Take care.